computer. All right, we are recording, number one. So,
Howdy.
first and foremost, I'm so lit right now.
Yeah, me too.
Welcome everyone to this episode 0 is kind of what we're calling this right now of ALG, Accountable Life Group. So basically this little teaser episode is going to be about just how John and I met and how we decided we're going to build something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
We obviously both have really cool weight loss stories and transformation stories. And instead of competing in who's better and who's got a cooler story and who's got a better system to losing 150 pounds, this is going to be about really the community of number one. I think we can all agree on creating more accountability in your own life is like the number one step. You can't do it unless you're personally accountable.
Fact.
And so we were just vibing one day when I was in the process of building my podcast. I was going to launch a Drop the Baggage podcast. John was like number 3 person on my podcast. And I was like, I vibed so heavy with this man. I was like, why do I build this podcast when we build something together?
Exactly. And I was like, stop what you're doing because I'm taking over the podcast.
The charisma will be too much for one man.
It's oozing machismo.
So obviously for anyone listening, from knowing who I am, as in with David Roden, you know, my transformation. John, I would love to have you just quickly do your transformation story. I'll go into mine in a little more detail and then kind of share from there.
Sure. I'm John Arpino. I am on Instagram as JArp's Journey. I've lost 278 pounds within the last almost 5 years now. Whoa. Yeah, man, I'm just your typical New Yorker. Got to a point of no return. Had a little tiff with death, kind of looked death in the eye, and was given another chance and kind of had it and changed my life.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll go into more detail down the road, but that's just a quick little how you doing.
100%. And if you don't know, I love how you doing. My how you doing for anyone listening that hasn't heard mine. I was 410 pounds by the time I was 18. I lived the obesity, just not a good life from 18 to 22. Yeah. Made the decision to really just take control of my life in honestly the only way I could, because losing 200 pounds just seemed too big of a goal. So I just never tried. I never really tried up until that point. But when I changed it to, I'm just going to focus on losing 2 pounds a week, day by day, week by week. Did that for 50 pounds was before the first time I ever looked up. And then all of a sudden, after just focusing on 2 pounds a week, and I looked up at 50 pounds down, I was like, I'm changing my friggin' life. I'm changing my physical life. I'm changing my mental life. I'm changing everything about me that I don't like. Right. And from that point, I've lost 195 pounds now, did a bodybuilding show, and your boy's working on putting on some lean muscle mass now. We're in that stage. Had 2 excess skin removal surgeries 2.5 years ago, and we out here doing it to him.
Let's do it. What are we doing?
So I love this because the thing that excites me most about what John and I are building is the fact that ALG is all going to be about low ego results.
What's ALG?
ALG, Accountable Life Group.
Wow. What is that, David? We didn't even mention a name yet.
We haven't gone into it yet. Oh, you guys have no idea where this is going to go. I'm so excited. The most important reason about what John and I, and it's going to be more than us, is creating is it's not about any individual ego of I have the best system. If you don't do my system, it's not going to work for you. And if you don't do keto or intermittent fasting or carb cycling or vegan or vegetarian, and if you don't believe in this, so like it's just BS. It's just not true. It's just, and so I love the low ego of John, and that's where I just vibed heavy with, because it's like I'm in the same position. It's really cool that what I've done, and John I can custom the same thing, which is what we've done is awesome. I'm very proud of myself.
Yeah,
but
I want to see more people do it. You know?
Exactly. And I'm not going to be like, oh, I know everything about everything. And just from my experience, I can teach you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
I'm in it together, because exactly what I did may not be exactly what you need to do. There's some principles and it may work, but it's going to be more than that. So I'm really excited for that. John, after our first experience together, I just want to get your vibe of everything.
Sure. After our first experience together, what? You didn't finish the statement.
Like just the first podcast we
Oh,
kind of vibed together with. We talked about we actually I kind of want to. I'll probably put some of it in there. The
yeah.
original
I mean, I feel like we
podcast.
vibed really well. I mean, it got to the point where we were so just knee deep in conversation that I feel like we both kind of, the light bulb kind of both went off in our head that we kind of should just team up and do something together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I felt like now for those that don't know, when me and David kind of first did that whole podcast that maybe will one day see the light of day, we talked mutually through Instagram a couple of times, but it wasn't like we were the best of friends. We weren't boys, we weren't buddies, but we had that first initial conversation and we both kind of just looked at each other and were just like, there's something about you. And I vibe with it, and we have to see where this goes. There's no reason to just make this one podcast, put it to the side, and then never speak again. So now we're what, 6-7 months in of weekly phone calls and getting to know each
Of
other.
sending Dwayne Johnson memes back and forth.
Yeah. And David introduced me to TikTok, which is
Oh yeah, I get you hooked. You get one viral video and it's game over, man. It's all of a sudden like you just stare at it, you're like, oh my gosh, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000. Holy moly!
I mean, I like Instagram more, but
Instagram and I have a very love-hate relationship right now.
yeah,
But that's the game. But it is so interesting because like I think you and I both know, because we both did it in very different ways.
yeah,
And we both see weight loss and health and in like, if you guys don't know about John's little brand he's building right now, I think it's gonna be a big brand too, just by itself, is the anti-diet diet. I freaking love it. Like
thanks,
I
bud.
love that whole vibe, because I've come to experience where like when people ask me for advice, I don't just give them a generic plan. Like I'm just like, no, I want you to first ask yourself this question: what are some unhealthy habits you can fix?
Right.
And then if you want to get some nuances, you're trying to get to abs, you're trying to get to very unique places, then yeah, we're going to have to work more restrictively and stuff like, but most people don't want that. They just want to live a healthy and happy life.
Well, the thing is, people hear the word diet and it's just like, oh, automatically go on a diet. Well, nobody wants to do that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care where you are in your life. The word diet is just, it's like paying taxes. Who the hell wants to pay taxes? You know what I mean? So when you hear the word diet, you automatically just think of, all right, well, what is the end of this? You know, I'm doing all this restriction, but when does the end come? When you think of it more like a lifestyle change and you're fixing your lifestyle. Lifestyle is infinite. You know, you can change your lifestyle 1,000 times until you find what actually works for you. But I've never personally heard of someone who's changed their diet 1,000 times and found what works for them, unless they're switching from Weight Watchers, South Beach, Atkins, this, that, the third. A name is a name.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? As soon as you change that lifestyle, you find what works for you. You're not going to want to go on any other diet plan.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
that's just
everyone
my
has, I always love it too, because it's like everyone has their own nuances of
yeah.
what they find restrictive.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has their own nuances of and so it's like, that's why this group, but ALG, and just one of the things that I think it is so pivotal is the fact that you have to have a sense of it's on you.
Yeah.
Like
It's
that
always
is,
on you.
you have to have an accountability set that you can't live in the victim mentality of it's woe's me, I can't control this, this sucks.
There is no bad hand in life.
You
You know?
can't do it. Now, I'm also not going to deny it. I'm sure you're the same way, where it's like sometimes it's not fair.
Right.
It's definitely not fair. The fact of if you guys haven't heard more of his asthma issues with John, it's not fair.
No.
It's not fair that we're genetically inclined to more weight than most.
Right.
It's not fair, but it doesn't change the fact that you can get the results, and it doesn't change the fact that you still got to work to live a healthy lifestyle.
Fact. Amen.
Like that's where I have such a strong position on body positivity when it comes to obesity, because it's just ridiculous. It's just people trying to justify their weakness.
Oh, you're talking about like how like the Lizzo kind of
just any of them. Yeah, I don't want to point at one person.
No, yeah, but I understand what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah, just
I think there's a realm for body positivity and there's a realm for self-love, but you need to understand the difference of being body positive at like, let's say over 400 pounds. you have to still realize that there's still health risks no matter how much you love yourself. Granted, love yourself. That's the most important thing. But don't make loving yourself the excuse as to why you have a laundry list of health problems. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? Um,
I love the Will Smith of that, which
yeah,
is self-love means you will do actions that are loving.
right.
And treating your body like garbage is
It's not
not a
self.
very loving
No,
act for it.
no.
It's just
Uh,
not.
you
Like
get
it's
one
just
vessel and that's it. They
yeah,
haven't they haven't figured out a way to put this soul in another vessel.
yeah,
So
it's like going up to someone and it's like I love you and you shoot them in the face. It's like
exactly.
no, that's not love. I'm sorry.
No, no. It's like your
And
mom hitting you. This because I love you.
yeah, this is why I love you. Smack. Yeah, it's just not. Now, going back to ALG, I'd love to get your vision of what we're creating. Obviously, the first next logical step, which is this podcast. And then I'd love to get your perspective on where you'd like things to go. Where just dream for a little bit. I'd love just to see your dreamer side to it all.
I mean, what I really want to see ALG kind of turn into is, um, I don't want to use the word commune, but let's say a large group of individuals helping and teaching each other stay accountable with oneself and with the help of a group format. Um, what I want to see ALG turn into is just this huge community of just people helping people and it becoming something way bigger than itself. Um, if we get 5 people to join this at first, hell, I did my job. But I think that this will grow and grow and grow and grow.
I 100% agree. And I think that's why I think that's one of the big things too when it comes to what the fitness health industry hasn't seen much of that
Right.
is the most important thing is a large group of people holding themselves and the group accountable to healthy lifestyles,
Yes.
not based upon specific programs, but
Hmm.
just general well-being.
Yeah. And
Like
general
it's
counting
always,
on each other, you
yeah,
know?
because it's always like, oh, if you're not vegan, like your life's
I
you're
don't
gonna
care.
die.
You know,
If you're
like
not
I don't care how you're eating. Well, I care about how you're eating, but I don't care if you're keto. I don't care if you're vegan. I don't care,
exactly
vegetarian. It doesn't matter to me.
as long as that life is lived within a healthy realm, that's all that
Hmm.
matters. Like
Right.
that's the most important thing because you gotta find what you can sustain. It's like one of my dad's favorite quotes. If you guys don't know, my dad's a interventional cardiologist. He just retired, but I'd always ask him. Even still to this day, I'm just always like I would just laugh at this because I used to hate what he used to say, which was, I'd ask him, "What's the best nutritional plan? What's the best nutritional plan you can do?" And he laughed. He goes, "You want to know what the best nutritional plan out there is?
What's that?
The one you can stick to."
Fact. Fact.
Like that's coming from a doctor. It's like
Yeah.
this. Oh well, no. This doctor says vegan. This doctor says this. This doctor says that. It's like, come on. Like there's great science in all of it, and the most important part is health and well-being.
We're all different,
That's the
man.
foundation.
We are all way different human beings and we're all going to function differently.
Mm-hmm.
It's just finding that common ground, which I think is accountability.
Accountability and the accountability that I want to stand by is I think there are obviously there's the internal and external accountability
Hmm.
where obviously internal is what's going to sustain you, which is your own driving force, but there's no denying that external is effective too, where you have
Right.
friends and family supporting you or ridiculing you, whatever
Oh,
it
yeah.
is,
Oh, yeah.
it affects you.
Hell yeah.
But as soon as that external disappears, that's why it's tough when people get, say, personal trainers, they only use external accountability. This
Hmm.
personal trainer's on you at all times.
Hmm.
But then you stop paying that personal trainer and you don't take self accountability, you're going to fall back
Yes.
because you didn't do it for yourself. You were doing it for a paycheck. You were doing it for something else other than you. And so I want to try to bridge that gap where obviously we're going to create something external, but we want to pull that internal guidance system with it.
Yes.
That with or without us, with or without ALG, you sustain, you
Yes.
create a healthy and happier life.
Yeah. I think that basically I want people to be able to take things from ALG and use it in their everyday life, even if they never come back to ALG. You know what I mean? Like, I think that that is the whole purpose of helping. Um, Whether you stick with us or you don't, I want to be able to give you those little nuggets of information that you're going to take with you for the rest of your life.
Exactly. And there's something to be said where, I mean, some people are more blessed for multiple different facets when it comes to the opportunity. I was like, a lot of my weight loss and my whole perspective change on life happened when I got into a new group of friends.
Yeah.
And that happened at the perfect time, right when I needed to. It was a godsend. And but not everyone gets that opportunity when
Right.
physically. But that's where what's so nice with technology today, we could be in your lawn, we could be right in your backyard right now, which is so cool.
Exactly. I mean,
I
I'm
can
in New
be,
York. He's in Michigan. It doesn't,
yeah. Next time we have a cookout online, I'm just gonna be doing my peck dance, just bam, 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 bam. I'm such a goofball. I love it. You,
Oh, this is going to be an interesting
I
journey we take people on.
Oh, 100%. It's, I guess that's also a thing of the journey that is so extremely important is I want pure, authentic people
Yeah.
where it's like, I'm not going to come off as some perfect know-it-all. I know John doesn't come off that way as well.
I mean, I'm a cocky bastard, but
I'm just, I'm just a goofball that likes to do peck dances
yeah.
and get proud of,
But I
go.
mean, you called your book, drop the baggage, and
Mhm,
I feel like if you're gonna join ALG or you're gonna join something like ALG, that's exactly what you need to do. You need to drop your baggage at the door. You need to be as vulnerable as possible,
mhm.
because if you're not, and you automatically build that barrier as soon as you get into something like this, you're not gonna have the success you want.
Oh,
I know for
exactly.
me personally, when I started my journey, I had to be as vulnerable as possible. How are you not going to be as vulnerable as possible when you're over 500 pounds? You almost just lost your life. That's it. That's make it or break it time, baby. Like if you want to be that stubborn bastard, then that's what you're going to stay. You're not going to
100%.
you're not going to take the information that people are trying to give you and implement it in a positive way. You're going to hear whatever information you want and you're going to ignore it because you have not dropped that.
Mhm. Drop that ego and drop that. And I think it's so important too, as people progress within ALG and they vibe with it, also knowing that this is more importantly not just your weekly, oh, this is cool to listen to. It's like I just want people to implement something.
Right.
It's not just going to be hoop hop hooray, you got to do this, you can do this. It's going to be like, all right guys, challenge of the day, you have to, like, let's all do this, let's
Hmm.
all do that. Let's make it not just an educational entertainment thing, but
Yeah.
actual implementation that creates long lasting change.
Fact.
100p. I'm actually pulling up some info from my notes.
Oh God. Here we
Oh
go.
yeah.
Here
Oh
we
yeah.
go.
Where we go? Where we at? Where we at? Ideas.
I just also want to say for whoever actually ends up watching episode 0, this was a a we just set up like we just set up
This is
our
it.
equipment and we were just like, all right, we should just record something and see what happens. So if we're just rambling or anything like that, it's just because we're just having a bunch of fun because
100%.
this is 6 months of talking
Mm-hmm. With the
finally
first
coming
steps.
together, you know.
And you're just like, holy moly.
Yeah.
And like, and we're gonna be a little, I was gonna say schoolgirls, just be all excited, but it's kind of funny. But yeah, I
I mean, I
think
am.
the authenticity of it all is just like, we're just average people trying to help average people. We're
Yeah.
not trying to put on this facade that we're perfect.
And
And
this is just the result of us being accountable to what we said we were going to do 6 months ago, which I
exactly.
think is really cool.
And I think this is from my perspective as I was kind of writing down who's the ideal person that would really vibe with ALG and Accountable Life Group and what we're building. Someone who's coachable, truthful, ready for change, open-minded, group-focused, team-minded, and ready to transform your mind and your body. And just like, I think that there's that certain level where now, obviously, even if you're listening to this, there's a certain piece of you that is, because you
Right.
wouldn't click it if you didn't think you were somewhat ready. We're never always ready. We're
No.
never just like that's always one of my main statements of making, which is like there's never gonna be a point where the clouds open up, God opens and says, oh, time to lose 200 pounds, David.
Today's the day.
Hey, today's the day.
No, this is like that little toe dip you do before you go in the pool, you know? When you're
Exactly.
not ready just to just jump in this little, oh, it's all right.
100%.
Water's okay.
100%. So yeah, I'm really excited for what ALG is going to start as. It's going to start at very coarse, and we're going to
Yeah,
refine this process. But we're taking the first steps.
I agree. Definitely agree.
Any
I'm really
last
excited to
thoughts?
yeah, I mean, I'm just really excited to see what comes of this. I'm excited to see the type of people that get ready to join this, and the willingness that they're willing to put in. Wow, using the same word twice does sound dumb. Um I'm
Hey,
just really excited, guys, okay?
we're
I'm a
going to
little
refine this.
nervous. I'm a little nervous. I got some new lights. I have a microphone. I've never had a microphone before, and I'm ready. I'm
Do I really
pumped.
sound like this?
Do I really sound this sexy? I can't help it.
We're going to have to start doing audios together, like book speaking gigs.
I think we should just get into the Audible game and just read. We could read books,
I
self-improvement
respect
books to
that game.
people.
That'd
Me
be
too.
so crazy.
Me too.
That'd be wild. But yeah, so I'm really excited as well. I think it's going to be, I know for John and I, or at least for me, um, I've always wanted to build something, but I was always so worried it was going to be about me. And
Yeah.
I was always worried that I was going to be the center of attention. And if I wasn't around, it wasn't going to sustain. And obviously, it's a living belief that I had to deal with forever.
Hmm.
And we're stepping through it. And this is that first catalyst step outside of publishing my book where I'm just like, let's just do it. I've always
Yeah.
been a super big thinker. I look at variables and possibilities, and it's been a weakness of mine because it's a strength as well, because I can see things in farther depth than most people.
Fact.
But the weakness is I always see the weakness of it. I'm like, oh well, if I do this and this could happen, if I do this. And this is like I'm diving headfirst into building something above myself, and we're just gonna run with
Yeah,
it.
fact. I mean, this is the only other thing besides weight loss that I said that I was going to do and followed through so far. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So I'm very excited to see where this goes.
Hmm.
I was always kind of guilty. Again, before I really knew what accountability was, I would always say that I was going to do something and never stick to it. So I never got to ever see the final goal, except when it came to losing, the 278 pounds. So when we said that we were going to do this, and we really came up with that idea, I think that we both came from a background of always wanting to do something and always putting in that work but never finally pulling the trigger. So
Hmm.
this is like a very big pulling the trigger moment for David and I. So I think that I speak for both of us when I say that we're very excited to share this with you guys. This is going to be a learning experience for not just you, but it's going to be a learning experience for both of us. And we are very excited to start this ALG journey with all of you. Whoever clicks episode 0, you're in it for the long haul.
You're locked in the cult. You're locked in,
Yeah,
guys.
that's it, guys. If you sat through all this,
I
you are.
respect you.
Yeah.
And if you sat through this whole thing and you're listening right now, I'm also going to tell you who this isn't for. This isn't for the person that needs to be told every second of every day what to do.
No, yeah.
Like this is not for you if you're looking for a ultimate life coach that's going to guide every decision you make. We're going to give you some cool we're going to give you some cool tips, tricks, some different ways of learning,
That's
but
right.
it's not going to be like, all right, this is step 1, this is
Yeah, no.
step 2.
Hell no.
That's just not what we're about, because that's not learning. You have to embrace it for yourself. We're going to give you some experiences, some stories. Like the way that I see this podcast as things move forward, it's going to be stories that's going to hook you. That's going to be like, wow, look what they did. Look what blank, 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 blank person did. Teachings. Here's some teaching points that help them, and tools. Here's a tool, whether it's doing this strategy or this strategy or this strategy. It's never going to be like, here's the ultimate secret sauce. This
No.
is going to change your life, and A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then you have to turn your brain off. It's like, no, we want you to learn. We want you to think for yourself, because we are different.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but we want you to have that sense of personal accountability and a desire for more and a desire for change.
That's right. I agree. And we just want you to be able to implement something that we say into your everyday life. I think that's the biggest take home for both of us.
100p. 100p. So with that being said, guys, if you went through all of this first episode, I applaud you
For real.
because this was coarse. This was not refined.
No.
We literally just got on here and we're like, we're just gonna do it. This is episode 0, and we didn't even know where we were gonna take it. We were just gonna we had a general overview thought process, and we just did it. So if you
This is
went through all
accountability,
this,
baby. This is it right here. This is
proud of
accountability.
you. I'm proud of you. With that being said, guys, have a phenomenal rest of your day, and I will talk to you all shortly.